touch briefly then, well, maybe other people answer any other thoughts on to Marty's question, then I'll come back to mine.
Sure. Yeah, I agree with Mark's comments that's why China is closing it off. They want to, I mean, the view is they want to be the reserve currency of the world, maybe in 20, 30, 40 years. They have a long-term view versus the US. Here in the US, you have two arguments. The US is, from a regulatory standpoint, we're in the regulatory area. So Dan mentioned TradFi. We're TradFi, CFI, meaning centralized finance, to DeFi. We're the bridge. We cover all those aspects. And the US is moving in that direction, but it's very slow. I don't blame the regulators. They're all playing catch up. The Europeans just last week came out with, through FATFA, a guidance regarding how the EU markets will grow in a pilot program with digital securities and digital tokens. Singapore, the rest of Asia is much more advanced than we are right now. And the regulators all over the world are speaking to each other. But the US is the most powerful nation in the world. And eventually, this cautious approach, I agree somewhat with Mark. I think we disagree in regards to there'll be a bifurcation. I think in 10 years, everything will be on the blockchain because the benefits are instantaneous settlement, low counterparty risk, lower cost, transparency. That's very powerful. And capital markets right now around the world don't have any of that.
I just want to interject. You're not really mentioning your background, which is that you ran a broker-dealer for years. You've been in the belly of the beast. I mean, so you're just seeing us being disassembled and reassembled, right? So
that's right. Yeah, I thank you, Marty, for that. I've been through this regulatory quagmire for 15 or so years now, so I know exactly. I've experienced it firsthand. But on the other end, Brian Brooks at the OCC, before he left, he was only there for 4 months and had a nice impact. But DTCC. If you're familiar with DTCC, I'm on the executive advisory board there for private securities. And a couple of weeks ago, and that's with Goldman Sachs, Pershing, State Street, ComputerShare. There's about 10 of us in that group. We were invited because of this digital cash for digital securities registration that we have. But they announced that DTCC will handle private securities in about 6 months, 2 quarters, utilizing the blockchain through the DTCC, which is remarkable if you understand our financial system.
And those are transfer agents, basically, or how does that?
Well, the DTCC, QSIP codes, et cetera, they handle all that. So this is in a way to streamline the transfer agent system, but it's also on the custodial side too. That's why State Street and many custodians were involved in this as well. So there's tremendous movement. I think, again, in 10 years, we'll all look back and be, like electronic trading 15 years ago. We're going to all look back and say, why didn't this happen sooner? But we're in Sandra said, early innings. I think we're on the way to the ballpark right now. So we're not even in the stadium.